Hello everybody and welcome to another amazing video of DIY investing. As we're looking at every single major index in crypto, we're seeing every single one of these breaking out and flipping on over 500-day accumulation. As we're seeing all of the markets starting to break out, we've already seen many of the top outperforming altcoins sitting in new all-time highs. I believe that the majority of the profit about to be rolling in is about to be significantly more than anything we've seen up to this point. We are about to see a much bigger influx of money coming into the market. One that's going to drive prices and appreciation of value way higher than even in some of the prior runs that we've had to begin this year. And I'm going to break it down, explain exactly what I think is going to be playing out, what markets are going to be showing some of the more profits, and how we can be positioned early to capitalize on any direction the market takes. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. And with that being said, let's jump right into this amazing video today. Alrighty guys, so here we are to start off today's video. We're going to be diving into every single one of our major indices in crypto, and I'm going to be breaking down exactly why I think that this breakout is so important and why we're about to see so much more money coming back into the markets for altcoins. Now right off the bat guys, when we're analyzing things from a market cycle perspective, as well as just a support and resistance and even trend lines, some of the more basic forms of analysis that we have, it's super easy to tell where the market is and how much higher we still have to go. Now so far, everything that we needed to see for the Bitcoin and crypto markets to kind of play out in the bullish way has played out. We broke from all descending resistance of our bear market, and then we started our first higher high of the new trend, right? And that was here inside of this entire consolidation. This was our lower high that we made in August, and we rallied straight back to that resistance and then consolidated right below it, right? So it wasn't until this move here that we finally got our first true higher high of the new bull trend, because this technically was a higher high, it was an impulse, but it wasn't a higher high because we didn't technically break above the prior resistance level, because this was lower lows, lower highs. The only way you can ultimately reverse a trend is to do the opposite. So instead of lower lows and lower highs, we would have higher highs and higher lows, which was pretty much what we experienced right here. This was the first true higher high of the new trend. We broke all descending resistance, we broke all horizontal resistance, and as it stands, the total market cap is consolidating right below this resistance, taking us all the way back to the beginning of that last bear market, where we first made this support and we made this first lower high of the bear trend, and we're currently consolidating right below that resistance level, awaiting for the next leg up. And that's, in my opinion, what we are getting ready for next. The market is just consolidating right below that resistance. The way it's looking is we're going to end up seeing continuation above. And when we're looking at the total market cap from a longer time frame, we're actually looking at this coming all the way back up to the tops of this lower high. So currently we're consolidating below this resistance. This resistance is an important level because it takes us all the way back into the bull market. It takes us into the very first support of our bear market. And now for us to be consolidating right below that, I do believe that this is going to break bullish and we're going to see one more final leg up, taking us to the tops of these lower highs. That's basically going to be about $2 trillion in total market cap. And so, yeah, we've had a pretty decent sized move off of this breakout, but I don't think that it's over, and I still foresee us coming all the way back up to the top of this range before we see any sort of major correction. And don't get me wrong guys, we could see some type of a pullback. The market's always bound and determined to have some type of big shakeout. We can't predict those sort of things, and so all we can really watch is level to level. Seeing the market consolidating right below this resistance, that's generally a bullish thing. If the market comes right into contact with the resistance and you're consolidating just below it, generally speaking, it's a sign that the market's going to end up flipping that and breaking back above that. And so if you're seeing exhaustion, the market will come and tag a level, and then you'll instantly see that thing reverse from that. We're not seeing that happening. We're seeing this consolidating right below that, and what that tells me is that we've got one more leg up coming before this rally is over. Now the next one we're looking at is the total market cap of DeFi. Now this one has been outperforming the most, and I expect that this is the trend that's going to continue to play for the rest of the cycle. The majority of the money and the smart money in crypto is going to be centered around DeFi, because that's, in my opinion, where the majority of the profit potential really is. And when we're looking at DeFi, the total market cap's only 67 billion. This thing just barely broke out of all horizontal resistance. that we've been inside of this bear market, going all the way back to May of 2022. We've been consolidating below this level, just accumulating sideways, and at the exact same time that we finally broke out of this horizontal resistance, it was the same time that we broke out of all descending resistance as well. So currently the price is outside of both, and I do believe that we're about to see much more upside coming. The cool thing about DeFi is the fact that we don't even have a resistance until all the way up here to basically $100 billion in total market cap. So we're still looking at a significant increase, almost 60% from where we're at right now. So that's what I'm thinking is going to be playing out. If DeFi, the total market cap, is looking like it's about to climb 50% in value, I think that that's a high likelihood that we're going to see some of the biggest gains and some of the biggest profits taking place inside of the DeFi market. We're already seeing many DeFi protocols like Thorchain really taking off, starting to make a run all the way back up to those prior all-time highs. And if this is truly the institutional cycle, like I believe it is, we got to expect that the majority of that money is going to also be flocking to DeFi. And at $67 billion total market cap, that's very undervalued long term. And I don't think that we're going to find much better gains outside of DeFi, just because if we're having all the institutional money flocking in at the same time, I find it much more likely that they're going to be going into DeFi and DeFi related protocols first. Now, this is going to be the total market cap for the altcoins, and what we're seeing here is roughly the same as all of the other ones. All of these have done the exact same setups. They've broken from all descending resistance, and now with this most recent breakout, we're actually seeing them flipping all horizontal resistance as well. So for the last little while, we've been ranging here, awaiting to decide whether we're going to actually flip this range high or whether this was going to end up acting as resistance or, deviation. As of now, it's looking like this is acting as a retest, and it does look to be like we're going to end up coming all the way back up to probably 928 billion in the short term before we see any sort of pullback. But regardless, I think that all of these charts are going to be more or less trending upwards to the tops of these lower highs. It's just that every one of them are going to end up hitting it at a different point. Because when we're looking at the total market cap, it's already rallied up super hard. I'm still expecting it's going to come all the way up to the tops of this lower high. And so we still expect that it's going to have a pretty decent sized breakout to come. So when we're factoring all of that with the other charts, I don't think DeFi is going to come all the way to the top of its lower high. That would be a little bit more unrealistic in my opinion. But for DeFi to fill this entire gap and just retest the low end of that lower high, that would be a much more realistic expectation. And that's still a very significant increase from where we're at today. And, looking over here at this market, big picture, I still think we're coming all the way up to the top of that lower high, but I do believe in the short term, the altcoins are going to end up coming probably either to the low end of this support or maybe even into the mid-range of this consolidation. I don't find it as likely that they're going to come and retest all the way up to the tops of these lower highs, just because what we've seen historically with altcoins is if the total market cap starts topping, we've seen whatever level the total market cap tops, altcoins will generally start topping at a much lower level. So if the total market cap's topping all the way up here at its lower high, I honestly think that the altcoins are going to top a little bit shorter than that. So that's kind of what I'm trying to help you guys visualize and what I'm more or less looking at. We'd probably run back up to the bottom of this and then see that pullback. But big picture, I still think that this is going to end up producing higher highs as we ultimately, make the next leg up into a new all-time high, right? Because that's what we're inevitably expecting. We finished the first year of the new trend, right? Because considering our market bottom, well, depending on where you're drawing it, Bitcoin bottomed at the end of the year, November 2022. So we've been through 1 year of this new uptrend. We still have 2 years to go. So I think that with this already being a year out, the accumulation is over. And that's what we just went throughout, all the way back even into mid-2022 of June. So we've been inside of this big bottom formation. And inside of that time, I think the majority of the actual accumulation has already passed. This is the period of markup. So throughout the rest of this year, I think we're going to more or less just be expecting higher highs and higher lows as we continue to build some sort of, foundation of support, ultimately finishing 2024 around those prior all-time highs. That's kind of what I think is going to end up playing out for the rest of this year. I don't really think that we're going to have super crazy parabolic market movements until probably 2025, but it could be mid-2024 to 2025, that final year and a half, we start to see the markets really pick up. Our Bitcoin halving is scheduled to be April, and so I think that the market's going to really start taking off quite a bit after that halving, because historically speaking, that's been the way market cycles for crypto has worked. We're still a little ways away from that, but it is approaching very, very quickly. we're just at the ending of this year. We only have a few more months until we're actually at that Bitcoin halving. I think the majority of the slow uptrending and the accumulation is pretty much past. And the rest of this year is going to be us experiencing a lot more markup where people generally are going to get priced out. And that's just what I'm seeing inside of all of these charts. Every single one of these is broken out. It doesn't matter which one we're looking at. Every total market cap chart, this is even the total market cap excluding Ethereum. So when we're looking at this one's even flipping its range highs as support. So every one of our indices has broken out and flipped our resistance as new support. They already broke from all descending resistance months and months and months ago, basically at the beginning of this year. And so if we're looking at every one of these breaking out, I think it's a telltale sign that we're about to experience a lot more markup. And when we're looking at this chart of the other markets, of the other altcoins out there, this thing's got a pretty significant size of a move until it's done. I think we're headed upwards of 634 billion. So that's still another 34-35% increase in value before this is done. I think that this chart will come up to here, and then we'll start topping and we'll make some type of consolidation back down before doing something like this. And then when we're looking at these charts, I think that they'll all end up doing the same. The total market cap of altcoins could peak a little higher. Like I said, it could come up to this mid-range point before we see a top. So it'd be a little bit more like this. We might see something like that, just a little bit more of an impulse inside of the total altcoin market cap. But then when we're looking at DeFi, I think that it's going to go to the low end of this lower high to begin our bear market, which would be, basically 100 billion in total market cap. And then the crypto total market cap, I think that it's going to go all the way up to the top of this lower high. So every one of our indices will top at a certain point. They'll all be at a different point, in my opinion. And some of them will outperform more than others, but I think that majority of them are going to top at these levels. We're going to be looking at this entire gap to be filled for DeFi. And then once we get closer towards that resistance being 100 billion, we got to have a little bit more concern. We got to be taking a little bit of profit, or at least just be aware that we could be due for some type of decent correction. But when I look at all of these, all we've really been doing is just uptrending. We haven't really even seen a big breakout yet. And so all of these, with them just flipping and making our first support and resistance flip out of this bear market bottom, I do believe that we're about to see that significant increase in value. So the markup period is about to start now. And I think that that's what we're about to be going through for the next month or two. That will probably end up leading us into some short-term local top. So I wanted to break it down, explain exactly what I'm thinking, help you guys to be prepared. Overall, every single breakout that we needed to see is played out. The market is exceptionally bullish. Nothing has really, changed in our plan or analysis that we've been talking about. The only difference is we've successfully broken out and retested the entire bear market bottom. So we're looking at it over 500-day range. Before we wrap up, let's talk a little bit about the time frames. If we're looking at how long all of these have spent, they're looking at over 530 days inside of this bottom. So for us to now be breaking out and flipping that as support, it's going to produce a big type of a breakout on the upside. So I just want everybody to be aware of that, be prepared for that. And remember that, even if you're in a lot of profit, I think that a lot more profit is about to be heading our way in the short term. So be looking to hold, be looking to maximize the majority of this trend, because I think that the fun part is more or less just starting. So anyways, guys, if you did find value, leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on any these updates. If you guys want to join the Discord server, see how I'm investing over the cycle, anything I'm buying, selling, trading, any DeFi protocols I'm participating in, NFTs, anything like that I'm doing with my money over the bull run, I post everything inside of the Discord server. So if you guys do want access to that, you can go ahead and sign up on my website. On my website, it's just a one-time payment. From that one-time payment, you're always going to have access forever inside of my group. So even if I take profits on crypto and I diversify those into the stock market, you guys are going to still be able to see every single call and signal. You guys are always going to be able to see anything that I'm diversifying my money into. So if you guys do want to check it out, links are in the description. With that being said, guys, I'm looking forward to riding this one out with you. I think that the fun part's just beginning. So focus on the long term, because we're all about to make a good amount of profit. Thank you all so much. And with that being said, I'll catch you in the next one. As always, peace out.